Emotions can't be trusted when you think about Stoicism. One of the first things that comes up is the idea of emotional control. But what's often misunderstood or even unsettling is just how far Stoic thinkers went with this idea. According to the Stoics, emotions, especially intense ones like anger, fear, jealousy, or even excessive excitement, aren't just distractions, they're dangerous. They believed emotions could cloud judgment, distort reality, and push us into actions we might later regret. Now, that doesn't mean Stoics denied emotions altogether. They didn't believe we should become emotionless robots. Instead, they believed that emotions should never have the final say. To them, reason, objective thought was the only reliable compass in life. If you're making decisions purely based on how you feel in the moment, the Stoics would argue that you're letting your mind be ruled by forces outside your control. Take anger, for example. In the moment, it can feel powerful, even righteous. But from a Stoic perspective, it's one of the most dangerous emotions because it's impulsive, it takes over quickly and often leads to regretful actions. Seneca, a well-known Roman Stoic, even wrote an entire essay called On Anger, where he described it as a form of temporary madness. Or consider fear. Fear can be helpful when it's alerting us to danger, but more often fear holds us back. It exaggerates risk, fuels anxiety, and limits growth. Stoics believe that when we allow fear to shape our decisions, we give away our personal power. What might disturb you about this Stoic view is how sharply it contrasts with modern thinking. Today, we're often encouraged to follow our hearts, to trust our gut, and to see emotions as essential to our identity. In popular culture, emotions are seen as authentic, real, and even heroic, something to be embraced and expressed. But Stoicism flips that idea. It doesn't say emotions are evil, but it certainly doesn't treat them as trustworthy. The Stoics weren't trying to make life dull or lifeless. Their goal was peace, inner tranquility, and they believed that emotional extremes made that peace impossible. By learning to pause, reflect, and choose actions based on principle rather than impulse, a person could achieve real freedom. The freedom not to be ruled by external chaos or internal storms. It's a challenging idea, especially if you've grown up in a culture that places a high value on Stoicism asks you not to suppress your feelings, but to step back from them and question their influence. So the next time you're in a heated argument, scared to take a risk, or tempted to act on impulse, remember this Stoic challenge is this: emotion helping me think clearly or just pulling me away from reason? You don't have to deny how you feel. But according to Stoic philosophy, your emotions should never be the boss. Reason should lead. Emotions can follow or be dismissed. You are just one of many. One of the most humbling and perhaps unsettling truths in Stoic philosophy is this: you are not the center of the universe. In fact, according to the Stoics, no single person is. We are each just one small part of a vast, interconnected whole. Our individual importance, as much as we'd like to believe otherwise, is limited. This idea can feel uncomfortable, especially in a world that constantly tells us to stand out, to be special, and to chase personal success. We grow up hearing messages like believe in yourself, follow your dreams, and you're one in a million. These ideas aren't necessarily wrong, but they can create a mindset where personal achievement becomes the main goal, sometimes at the expense of everything else. But the Stoics had a very different view. They believed that the highest purpose of a human being is to live in harmony with nature and to contribute to the greater good. That means acting with justice, integrity, and compassion, not for recognition or personal gain, but because it's the right thing to do. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor and famous Stoic philosopher, wrote in his journal, later published as Meditations, that a person should behave like a foot in relation to a body, doing its part without claiming more significance than necessary. If the foot starts trying to act like the head, the whole body suffers. Likewise, when we place our personal desires above the good of the community or the natural order, we create imbalance and conflict. This perspective doesn't mean your life is meaningless. It means your life has meaning within the context of the larger system. You're part of something bigger than yourself: humanity, nature, the universe, and your role, however small, matters most when it serves that whole. Now, here's where it can feel uncomfortable. Stoicism doesn't focus much on personal ambition, legacy, or fame. Those things are fleeting, often outside of your control, and ultimately irrelevant to your character. What matters is how you live today. Are you honest? Are you fair? Are you contributing positively to the people and world around you? In modern culture, Humility is often overlooked in favor of confidence, self-promotion, and personal branding. But the Stoics would argue that true greatness lies in quiet service, not in attention, but in integrity. So why might this idea disturb you? Because it challenges everything we're told about identity and self-worth. It's not about being the best, the richest, or the most admired. It's about doing your duty as a human being, and doing it well even if no one notices. From a Stoic point of view, letting go of ego is not a loss. It's a relief. It frees you from constantly needing to prove yourself. You don't have to be more than others, you just have to do your part. And do it well. In the end, Stoicism reminds us, you are just one of many, but in that truth lies your strength. You control very little. One of the most powerful and potentially disturbing truths in Stoicism is how little control you actually have over your life. While much of modern self-help culture tells you that you can control your destiny or manifest your future, Stoicism offers a more sobering yet liberating perspective. Almost everything is beyond your control. The Stoics divided life into two simple categories: what is within your control and what is not. According to thinkers like Epictetus, the only things truly within your control are your thoughts, judgments, and actions. Everything else, your health, your wealth, your status, your body, your relationships, and even how others treat you is ultimately up to fate, chance, or other people. This can feel like a tough pill to swallow. We're conditioned to believe that with enough hard work, planning, or positive thinking, we can shape every outcome. But Stoicism tells us that while we can influence many things, we cannot guarantee results. You can exercise and eat well, but still get sick. You can be kind and loyal in a relationship, yet still be hurt. You can work hard, yet still not succeed in the way you hoped. So, what's the Stoic solution? They teach us to put our energy and focus only into what we can control: our inner world. Your response to events, your attitude, your choices, and your values, these are always in your hands. No matter what's happening outside of you, the goal isn't to become passive or indifferent. It's to become resilient. When you stop obsessing over things you can't control, you free yourself from unnecessary frustration and suffering. You start responding to life with clarity and calm instead of reacting with anxiety and fear. Take Marcus Aurelius as an example. As a Roman emperor, he had enormous responsibility, but he also knew he couldn't control the actions of others, the outcome of battles, or even his own health. In his private writings, he constantly reminded himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Why is this idea so disturbing? Because it challenges the illusion that you are the master of your fate. It pushes against the idea that with the right mindset, money, or method, you can control everything. Stoicism says, you can't, and oddly enough, that realization is what makes you powerful. By focusing only on what's yours to command your character, your choices, and your conduct, you learn to live with purpose and peace, even in a world full of uncertainty. In the end, Stoicism doesn't teach you to give up, it teaches you to let go. Let go of trying to control the uncontrollable. And in that letting go, you gain true control over the one thing that always matters most: yourself.